Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
starting with that. Let's do it. Let's do it. So let's jump into it. Let's just talk trade. Let's just talk poetry with Tay. Let's go. She got a new poem, y'all. So we starting it out. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Quick, I'm sorry, but that was the quickest little intro ever.
Right, right.
It was like,
That was, that was Spanish.
I wasn't ready.
That was Spanish with a little French. A
Mm.
little French on that.
You went real fast.
Absolutely.
All right. So I did post this one in the group.
Let's go. When did you post it?
You liked it and like commented on it and everything. You asked me if it was a new one. I don't remember. I posted it sometime either last week or this week.
Oh, yeah, I do remember. Okay, okay, I do
Mm.
remember it. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. So this one is called When You Can't Run.
Come on.
When you can't run, when you can't hide, and
Mhm.
all of these feelings are swirling inside, what do you do? How do you hold these emotions that threaten to swallow you whole? Now that you're injured, you have to cope in a way that is quieter, stripped of the hope that motion could free you, that speed could release, the ache in your chest, the longing for peace. You used to run to feel alive, to chase the silence to survive. Now, if you run, you hurt your knee. But was it ever truly setting you free?
Mhm.
Because even then, the pain would stay. You only pushed it to another day. Now you can't run, so you must face the emotions that led you into the chase.
My goodness. All right, hold on. Can you read the last five lines for
Because even then, the pain would stay. You only pushed it to another day. Now you can't run, so you must face the emotions that led you into the chase.
All right, what is this chase? Let's talk about it. Come on. Give us some detail. Come on.
All
No,
right.
come on.
So, no, I'm coming,
Come
Trey.
on.
Give me a second. Give me a second. Let me actually set you up back up so they can see you.
Okay.
Um,
Who's chasing who? Who's the chase? Who's the predator? I need to hear it.
all right. So this actually, like, so this basically is a poem. It's not like feelings that I have currently
Okay.
necessarily, but it was like, so when I was doing my homework, I'm doing like my class right now is crisis trauma and abuse counseling is like the class that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
And so I was actually watching this video. Um, uh, like that was like for a class
Hmm.
about a um like a survivor of um like she had attempted to harm herself
Really?
and she was remembering things and then also just remembering like having some PTSD revolving around like the military and stuff, and so like I related to that and it kind of sparked this like the feelings that I had when I first got injured in the
Yeah.
army,
Hmm.
like, and then was also going through and figuring and finding out like that my ex cheated on me and like all of these things that were happening like all at once.
Yeah.
It was like I was injured and then I found out that yeah, then I had these emotional like traumas that were coming up and coming out
Yeah.
that's at the same time. And one way that like I sometimes used to like release or would use as a release of like tension or like those emotions was to like go for a run or to
Mm.
yeah, to go for a run. Basically like running away from my problems was
Yeah.
pretty much like the analogy, right?
Mm.
And so it kind of made me think of that. But then like during that time, like my knee was injured. Like I couldn't run. Like if I ran, I hurt. Like it was like painful and like I really couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Um I was on crutches and like there was a lot of things that I couldn't do. So it was like I had to actually face the pain.
Mm.
Like not only the physical pain, but the emotional pain that I
Yeah.
would try to run from. And so that's kind of like where the poem. what the poem represents.
Oh, and again, this was you're saying this is with the class that you're taking now.
So the class I'm taking now, like it sparked those memories in me. Like it did
Okay.
just recalling that. So so then I had this spark of like, let's write this poem.
Yeah.
That's where that came from. Because it's not necessarily like, I mean, I still have um pain sometimes in my knee, like where I can't do certain exercises like without getting pain there. So I have to like do that. But some of that stuff has healed um like a bit. So and I am trying to like I'm doing like this walk to run thing. So I'm trying to see like push my limits to see
Yeah.
what I can do. But
Hmm.
being aware of the injury and like taking things easy, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that
Wow.
is yeah, that is that.
That's amazing. I thank you for sharing that. I mean, the vulnerability that has to come with that, um, I completely respect. I think it's very admirable in terms of, how you're putting into perspective, um, taking into perspective your trauma. And you actually, there was another poem you posted that was kind of similar. Was that a poem or something you spoke about trauma recently with another post? I don't know if that was inside of the poetry group or mental health, maybe. But mixing your trauma in with your poetry, and it sounds like there's still past stuff that you can still link to, or I guess still deal with within your poems and showcase a different level of it.
Yeah, I think it's just the way it's like I think it's been a really great I I've enjoyed like the poetry is kind of a way to release some of the things that like
Yeah.
still come up because like there I mean I think we've talked about this before but like
Mm.
sometimes with like certain months or certain things like
Yeah.
there like if you haven't actually really dealt with everything
Yep.
like in those things your body can store and remember those emotions
Yeah. Hmm.
and especially like during those time periods, right?
Yeah.
There are certain time periods that can be difficult and like I have like come to notice that with
Yeah.
myself. Like even this month um where it's like typically a very great month because it's my birthday. There was a lot of stuff that happened last year around this time
Yeah.
that I came to realize that like, oh wow, like I still have some stuff that I need to like deal with it. Um,
Yeah.
but it's all like overall it's all good because it's like even though like and I think I was talking to my sister about it. I was like, even though like I'm in a really great place and I feel amazing like today, I
Yeah.
feel like I'm like, why am I feeling these feelings? Oh, it's because I still have some of that residual
Yeah.
stuff from last year
Yeah.
that I still need to deal with. So maybe, I don't know, maybe a poem will come from it, or maybe just like journaling it, or just having those times, like that time to like think about the emotions and letting them go and just like allowing it to pass.
Yeah.
And just so yeah. So when I get like sparks of emotion or sparks of inspiration, whether that's from, you know, um, I mean, I guess like one of the poems I had shared was like after my time in Hawaii and like how
Yeah.
but it was also like reminded me of like when I was married because that was the
Hmm.
last time I had been there. So yeah, so some
Uh,
and I didn't really write a lot of poetry back then, um so now it's a way to like express it and I guess it's a way of like perhaps it'll come together in like a book of like this is where I was and this is where I am,
yeah.
like it could lead into that.
Absolutely.
you know?
Yeah. That's that's amazing. Do you feel like you'll ever get over or deal with all your trauma? Like, whether it comes up through a poem or whether it comes up through singing, or do you feel like you will those moments of passing, when it passes by and it comes out through a poem or a song, or your trauma kind of express itself in certain ways, do you feel like that'll ever stop? You feel like you'll always have those moments where you're
don't know, I guess. I I don't know, it's difficult to say whether it will stop or won't stop. I think every moment that I take the time to express it and to allow it and to feel it, it
uh,
is a layer of healing and is a layer of allowing things to pass. So I think as it
mm,
comes, like it'll be easier
yeah,
to deal with, like if those memories come or if those moments come, like it won't last as long. It was like
yeah,
I had a conversation with my aunt at one point where um, you know, all those different times that like my ex did call me to tell me different news, to uh, attempt to get under my skin that seemed
yeah,
like around certain times.
hmm,
Like some of them happened like around times that I was like good and it felt like it was like you're trying to bring me down, but it was like each time it was like the impact was less. So
yeah,
so I think each time, as long as you're dealing with it in some form, each time the impact will be less. And so then the trauma eventually will fade, or like the amount it hurts you will fade, I think.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because maybe the goal isn't to really even deal with it. Maybe the goal is to just accept that it happened and
Mhm.
allow it to be a past, but still a time that you can reflect on, perhaps in lessons or in emotions, or you know what I'm saying? Because maybe there isn't really a such thing as dealing with something.
Well, and I think part of it too is I think there has been times where I didn't feel like I was allowed to express certain emotions.
Yeah. Hmm.
And so because I didn't feel like I was allowed to express those emotions, I suppressed them.
Yeah.
So now in freeing myself and giving myself this form of expression, like
Yeah.
in I can express my emotions very vulnerably, very rawly, in a very like artistic way, and in a way that's like that releases it.
Yeah.
And it can be, I don't know, vulnerable, angry, sad, whatever it is. But if I had difficulties with that in the past, it's easier in this expression.
Yeah.
Like, and so then by allowing myself to have that expression, you're you're dealing with it in a way, or at least, you know, letting it out.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's my thoughts on it anyways.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that poem.
Mhm.
I think it was Trey Songz that said, um, he said that's the thing about artists. And I know we're dealing with poetry, but that's a form of art. But he says the thing about artists is that, people think that we sit in one emotion and just continuously ponder in that emotion. But he was saying that it ebbs and flows. Like, people think they'll listen to a song you put out, but it's a song it was an emotion you were feeling 3 months ago. you know?
Like this was years ago. Like this
Yeah.
was like I said, when I was in the army, this was like when I like basically first got injured and I couldn't do it. Actually, a lot of these emotions, or like, I recall the feeling like it was a February when he called to tell me that he had cheated on me. Um, like, and I was awaiting surgery at that point, but then my
Oh,
surgery was canceled because of COVID. And I like legitimately I couldn't I it was in 2020. It was like I couldn't move. I I was in pain physically, I was in pain emotionally. I had crutches. I legitimately couldn't I couldn't run and all I wanted to do was run and I was in the army at that time and like they work you out.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do some of the things I wanted to run.
Yeah.
Um they did some like crazy exercise that day that I really wanted to try. And I think I did try it. It was like a sledgehammer. Like they brought us
Oh, snap.
no, they brought a
The
sledgehammer
heck?
PT, and like we got to hit a tire with it. It was difficult though because my knee did hurt, so I did have to like stop. But for a little while it was great. I got to like hit my frustration out on a tire.
Dang. Hey. We want to be that sledgehammer or the type. Oh,
I didn't have my full strength then because I really couldn't do it. But I do also recall like there was a one moment where and literally like tears came out of my eyes as I was
yeah.
like working through these pent up emotions that I had had from like years past,
Yeah.
pent up anger and stuff because like anger was considered an emotion that you could not show because
In the
it's
military?
not in the military, but just like even in my upbringing a little bit. It was like if you were
Ah,
like, you had an attitude or like you were like being bad in some way for being
yeah.
great. Um, and so I don't think I ever really expressed anger a lot.
Wow.
And so I had one of those punching dummies, like the Bob.
Oh, dang. Yeah, I used to have one of those.
Yeah, I had one like a friend of a friend let me borrow it for a little bit. So I was housing it for them while they moved and set up and then so for a while I just punched the heck out of that dummy.
Oh, dang. Yo.
And then like that first time I did it, I didn't realize how much and I like bawled after a while because it
Wow.
all of this emotion was being released.
Wow.
It was really healing.
Man, I didn't think those things actually like work. But those like I know somebody told me that they wanted to go to a what do you call those rooms?
A rage room?
Rage room, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, what does that really work?
I would love that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
is.
there's you you know what? I'm about to play the quote. Charles Bukowski, you already know.
Mhm. Is this one where you have to pause or are we good?
Actually, I'll read it. I'll read it. Yeah. 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 Let's see if I can find it. Um,
Do I need to grab my Charles Bukowski book?
I don't know. I mean, you can, but I don't know if this poem is. It's a very short but sweet. Yeah. Okay. Here it goes. Some
Yeah.
people, yes, he says some people never go crazy, but truly horrible lives they must live. I like freaking 110,000% agree with that. And I think perhaps what he's saying in regards to that is, some people truly never like step outside of the norm. We're born into this quote, air quotes, civilized society, right? Or, how like when um Native Americans used to be here. Then we have what the the people I forgot what you would call those people like specifically that came over into what would you call the people that came over into the land?
Colonizers?
Colonizers. There we go. So you had the colonizers, that came over, and then they said that these people were uncivil, right? Or like they were not civilized people.
Right.
You know, and same thing with Africa, right? Same thing happened with Africans, and they were not civilized. And you have people who try to subject you to their own way of what they think is the right way to live, you know, in a sense. But again, that's not to say that like I'm glad we got colonized because at the same time we got, you know, we were. I mean, the way it went about was horrible, but I'm happy that we were introduced to things that ended up being good for us in the long term because if it didn't happen, if certain things didn't happen, we would probably still have certain diseases or certain things that we didn't know about. But it was, you know, I think there was a lot of different things that kind of help contribute to what we ended up becoming as a nation. And there would have been a lot of things that we wouldn't have not been exposed to had things not went the way they went. But what I disagree with wholeheartedly is them coming in and just telling people that they're wrong.
Right.
Your way of living is wrong. You can't do this. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Certain things I agree with. Being a Christian and stuff, obviously, you know, if there was any level of certain things going on. But I mean, every country, every colony had their own ups and downs, their flaws and their sins and all those type of things. But yeah, just telling a person that they're completely wrong because you're not my way,
Mhm.
right? Telling someone they're wrong because they don't want to work a 9 to 5. Telling someone they're wrong because they don't want to wear a suit and tie, but they
Mhm.
like to dress down in Adidas and Jordans and shorts and a tank top. Oh, you're wrong. That is not how you dress, you know, like and things of that nature. Like
Mhm.
telling someone they're wrong because they want to cut their hair a certain way, telling someone they're wrong because their hair is not a certain way. Like, you know, that, you know, and I believe that's the people he's attacking here. You know, some people truly never go crazy. And I think going crazy is the pushback on the norm.
Mhm.
It's not being like everybody else. It's being how you want to be. It's being different, or if they want to describe it as different, but it's, hey, I'm doing this because I want to do this. Why are you coming to church? And you know, there was a time where jeans in church was horrible, right? Like you could not wear jeans.
Yeah.
That was a horrible thing, you know, but oh, how crazy, you know, it was. But you know, I think it's taking a step back for sure and definitely going crazy. So you need to go crazy a few times in your life. And that is defying the norm a few times in your life, you
Yeah.
know?
I think just allowing expression, allowing
Yeah,
forms of expression. I think in some cases, like I said, like with like some of the feelings that I
yeah,
like, even just knowing the place for each feeling,
yeah,
that it's important um to have that like awareness that there's a purpose for each emotion that you have. Uh,
yeah,
that there's a purpose behind fear, there's a purpose behind sadness, there's a purpose behind happiness, there's a purpose behind anger, and all of the different emotions that you can feel. There is a purpose behind them and recognizing it, but
yeah,
I'm not allowing them to lead you. Like it's like your emotions aren't supposed to be the leaders, but you are meant to feel and express them in some way that is healthy.
yeah,
So, um, so like I said, like when these emotions come up, or like, like with that poem that I wrote, is like that release of some emotions that I didn't have. And some of it is just like also recognizing like a pattern that I had with myself of like, while I felt like the exercise helped me to like, it was a release of that feeling of stress or that feeling or whatever, it was actually me running away from the problem and never actually dealing with it
yeah,
because it was just like an avoidance strategy.
yeah.
I'm just gonna,
Escapism.
yeah, escapism,
Mhm.
exactly. It's like
I just talked about that.
right. I watched
Mhm.
that one.
Hey,
I'm just gonna go for a run, right? To
oh,
escape, to get away from what I feel is hurting me.
Yeah.
But like when I wasn't able to physically do that, it was like, what am I gonna do now?
Yeah.
Like have this like overwhelming like fear of like, oh my gosh, now how do I deal with this? Well,
Yeah.
I have to actually deal with it.
Exactly. And that's a beautiful place to be.
Mhm.
When you have to actually deal with something. It's a beautiful place to be. You
Yeah.
know, what
You want me to
truly we
oh,
said?
no, you finish your thought, and then I was gonna say, do you want me to read the poem one more time before we move forward?
Yeah, read it again. Come on, give us another glimpse of it.
Mhm. Now that we've talked about it.
Exactly. Yep.
Great depth. All
Great death.
right. Okay. When you can't run, when you can't hide, and all of these feelings are swirling inside, what do you do? How do you hold these emotions that threaten to swallow you whole? Now that you're injured, you have to cope in a way that is quieter, stripped of the hope that motion could free you, that speed could release, the ache in your chest, the longing for peace. You used to run to feel alive, to chase the silence, to survive. Now, if you run, you hurt your knee. But was it ever truly setting you free? Because even then, the pain would stay. You only pushed it to another day. Now you can't run, so you must face the emotions that led you into the chase.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. The essence of it. Not running,
Mhm.
not being able to run any longer, not being able to hide any longer. You must deal with it. You must face it. You must come to terms with it. And I think at some point everyone has felt that blow.
Yeah.
I think life is at some point life deals that blow with everyone. It goes, hey, sucker punches you in the gut and goes, I'm here. You gotta
Or
deal with me, or it's gonna die with you.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, I'm thinking of a lot of quotes that Charles Bukowski said, but yeah, like essentially, you know, you will come to terms with, and that's the thing too. I really hope and pray I'm able to talk to as many people as I can because I will want to warn them about that. Life will deal blows, and that blow you're running from will be the hardest blow it deals to you if you don't deal with it. If you don't face life and try to fight, it's gonna deal that blow, and that blow is gonna be the biggest blow you have because it's coming. Life has a funny way of bringing everything back around, and it's like if you don't deal with it now, it's coming. So no matter how much money, no matter how much prestige, no matter where you can't hide. No matter how much money your money can't hide you, your prestige can't hide you. You can no, it's coming. And so, yeah, what you're saying is really, really what you said is really, really good. That poem was amazing. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right, I got some poems I want to like listen to now. You got me in poetry mode.
Yeah, I mean, well, we are in Let's Just Talk Poetry, so that's a good mode to be in.
That's a good mode to be in. A great mode to be in. Let's do it.
That's the one we're supposed to be in.
That's the one
So
we're supposed to be in, right? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let me see. What's the one I listen
do you
to?
write any
I
recently?
I haven't wrote any recently.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I haven't wrote any recently. Um, but again, music, I'm always listening to things like that. I'm always getting into. They kind of bring me back into
Yeah.
poetry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hello,
Ouch.
hello, TikTok. We are doing our Let's Just Talk Poetry podcast right now. So, um, we're just waiting on Trey to to show us a poem. He's got a poem he's gonna have us listen to. So,
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which one it was, man. I can't stand when I like hear a poem and then I like forget it.
mm, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It just like, oh,
no, I get you.
makes me want to bite something. Let me see. Um,
Ooh,
what's wrong?
never mind. We're not gonna read that one.
No, no, go ahead. What is it now?
It's a
What
Charles.
is it?
No, it's Charles Bukowski. This is my book. You know the
Read it. Why not? I
well,
love this. Don't
where?
hide.
Huh?
Don't hide.
Don't hide. Okay, well this is Charles Bukowski, and you know how he gets sometimes.
Absolutely.
So just this was the one I turned to. Like I literally just turned to. I like the title.
Come on with it.
So it's, we've got to communicate. he was he was a very sensitive man, she told me. And after he split with Andrea, he kept her panties under his pillow, and each
Mm,
night he kissed them and cried. Look at you. Look at that expression on your face. You don't like what I just said, and do you want to know why? It's because you're afraid. It takes a man to admit his feelings. I
mm,
see you watching women getting in and out of their cars, hoping their skirts will climb up so you can see their legs. You're like a schoolboy, a peep freak. And worse than that, you just like to think about sex. You really don't want to do it. It's only work to you. You'd rather stare and imagine. You don't even like to suck my breasts. And you
mm.
don't like to see a woman doing things in the bathroom.
Hold on now.
I told
No,
you.
no, hold on. What are
No,
you reading? What is
I
going on here?
I told you, Trey.
Hello.
You couldn't read this one.
Hello.
I did I not warn
What's
you?
going on?
Did I not warn you?
What
I
is
warned
going
you.
on?
It's Charles Bukowski, Trey. You never know
I'm
what he's gonna say.
I'm listening.
Oh my God.
My
Where was
goodness.
I? Okay, there it was.
Goodness gracious.
I warned you, did I
I'm
not?
listening. I'm listening.
Is there something wrong with bodily functions? Don't you have bodily functions? Jesus Christ, my sisters warned me about you. They told me what you were like. I didn't believe them. Hell, you looked like a man. All your books, thousands of poems. And what do you know? You're afraid to look at a woman's pussy. All you can do is drink. Do you think it takes any guts to drink? Here, I've given you 5 years of my life. And what do? You won't even discuss things with me. You're charming enough when we have a party. That is, if you're in the mood. You
Hey,
you can really talk your shit. But look at you now, not a sound out of you. You just sit in that chair over there and pour drink after drink. Well, I've had it. I'm going to get myself somebody real, somebody who can discuss things with me, somebody who can say, well, look, Paula, I realize that we're having some problems, and maybe if we talk about them, we can understand each other better and make things work. Not you. Look at you. Why don't you say something? Sure, drink it down. That's all you know how to do. Tell me, what's wrong with a woman's pussy?
man.
I left my father because he was like you. All he did was drink and play the horses. Well, he almost went crazy after she left him. He pleaded and pleaded and pleaded for her to come back. He even pretended he was dying of cancer just to get her to come see him. That didn't fool her. She went and got him a decent man. Or she went and got herself a decent man. She's with him now. You've met him, Lance. But no, you don't like Lance, do you? He wears a necktie and he's into real estate. Well, he doesn't like you either. but mother loves him. And what do you know about love? It's a dirty word to you. Love. You don't even like. You don't like
Wow.
your country. You don't like movies. You don't like to dance. You don't like to drive on freeways. You don't like children. You don't look at people. All you do is sit in a chair and drink and figure systems to beat the horses. And if there's anything duller and dumber than horses, you let me know. You just tell me. All you know how to do is wake up sick each morning. You can't get out of bed until noon. You drink whiskey, you drink scotch, you drink beer, you drink wine, you drink vodka, you drink gin. And what does it mean? Your health gets worse and worse. Your left thumb is dead, your liver is shot. You have high blood pressure, hemorrhoids, ulcers, and Christ knows what else. And when I try to talk to you, you can't take it. And you run to your place and take the phone off the hook and put on your symphony records and drink yourself to sleep. And then you wake up sick at noon and phone and say that you're dying and that you're sorry that you want to see me. And then I come over and you're so contrite, you're not even human. Oh, but you can be charming when you're sick and in trouble. You can be humorous. You can make me laugh. You win me back again and again. But look at you now. All you want is one more drink and then one more drink, and you won't talk to me. And you just keep lighting cigarettes and looking around that room. Don't you want to work at making our relationship better? Tell me, why are you afraid of a woman's pussy? And that was Charles Bukowski.
Charles Bukowski. I love it. Oh, that was good.
That was a good one.
That was a really good one.
Yeah,
Deep.
very deep.
Like, man, you said I thought I was gonna have to cut it short.
Um,
Man,
I warned you.
nah, I ain't know what was going on.
I warned you, Trey.
I said, hold on, what did you say?
You already know Charles Bukowski has, like,
You're right.
he's a very raw and real, and he doesn't shy away from topics.
Yeah, he does not. And I think that's what everyone loved about him. I think he said things that everyone else wanted to say,
Mhm.
but they just didn't know how to say it or maybe had the courage to say it.
I feel like this was a conversation that one of his wives had with him.
Oh man, you think he was writing from that perspective?
I think so. I
No.
I really do because he said he was a drunk. Like he's
Wow.
like I feel like this was something that somebody said, like one of his like wives or girlfriends said to him.
Wow. That would make sense. That would make sense.
He just wrote it down as a poem.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And that's something that he would do,
Yeah.
you know. But from what you just said in that perspective, I'm like, you know what? Makes a lot of sense.
Because it was from like a female perspective. It was.
Wow. That's I never even thought about that perspective. Wow, that's a perspective game.
It was a perspective. It was very deep, very real.
Very,
Like, and it is like frustrating though to have
yeah,
to be, and I've been in like situations like that or with people with men like that.
yeah,
Like, not necessarily that they like drink all the time, but just like that they're so like afraid of sharing their feelings or communicating. Like,
yep,
you have like very one-sided conversations, and it's super frustrating.
yeah,
Sometimes you want to say crazy things like that
yeah,
to like be like, so you don't want to talk about it?
yeah.
Why are you afraid to talk about this? Very
Eh,
explicit.
That's yeah. That's good. That's really good.
You know? It's
Yeah,
frustrating.
Charles, go ahead.
No, it's frustrating. It can be frustrating.
Yeah. Like what's wrong with me?
Yeah. Or, what's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. What's wrong with you? Yeah, 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 yeah. You afraid of this? It's like, dang,
Hmm.
that's true. Uh, Charles Bukowski, his parents, I think his dad, he always talked about how abusive his dad was.
Mm,
This poem I'm gonna share here is him depicting that with his mom.
okay.
Hmm. Yeah, his dad was actually a very abusive man
Mm.
from his perspective. Finally found it. I was wondering where it went.
You need to pause it. Yeah, good.
Oh, I think last time I did this, I was good, but
Okay. I don't remember if we had the thing on or not.
yeah, I think we were good last time for
Okay.
this one. Yeah, good.
We had goldfish, and they circled around and around in the bowl on the table near the heavy drapes covering the picture window. And my mother, always smiling, wanting us all to be happy, told me, "Be happy, Henry." And she was right. It's better to be happy if you can. But my father continued to beat her and me several times a week, while raging inside his 6'2" frame, because he couldn't understand what was attacking him from within. My mother, poor fish, wanting to be happy, beaten 2 or 3 times a week, telling me to be happy. "Henry, smile. Why don't you ever smile?" And then she would smile to show me how, and it was the saddest smile I ever saw. One day, the goldfish died, all 5 of them. They floated on the water on their sides, their eyes still open. And when my father got home, he threw them to the cat. They're on the kitchen floor. And we watched as my mother smiled. A Smile to Remember by Charles Bukowski.
Very deep poem.
That is very deep. Very,
Very, yeah,
very sad too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, coming from a mom that experiences this too, it was like there's a lot of relations in this, and I wasn't born or old enough to remember any of it, but I do remember the stories, and it's just like the same level of like, I think someone in the comments actually. Let me share the screen real quick because I was reading a sometimes reading the comments are a dope thing.
Yeah.
Um, to kind of read what some people's perspectives are as well. But yeah, this I can only imagine. You think of Charles Bukowski and the life he lived. He ran to liquor to kind of like soothe a lot of his pain. Um, but someone told me recently, I think was it you? That you that told me, or I don't know.
Would you have to tell me what I may have said, and then I'll let you know if it was me.
I guess I talked to so many people, but I guess I was talking to someone who just kind of like pointed out to me, just that when someone gets into drinking or smoking, all these different things, it's important to just understand how they got there, what demons, what things they're dealing with or dealt with by running to those things, you
Yeah.
know? Um,
I don't think that was me, but
mhm. Yeah, yeah, it's something you would say, I guess, but
something that
yeah.
I say, but no, I don't think it was me that said it.
Yeah, yeah, that was someone I was talking to. I actually hate I can't remember who it was because it was a deep conversation. And they
Mm.
kind of brought it back to like, yeah, just remembering what got them there is
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
When you're not judging others, remembering. I think I was talking about judging with this person. They were
Mhm.
just saying to remember how a person got there.
Yeah.
Remembering that's a good way to keep you from judging.
Maybe I did say something like that.
Yeah, I'm like, was that you? Like, I could have sworn I was talking to somebody about judging. Like, and it was
No,
just
I
like,
mean, I remember us having a conversation about judging before. We've had
yeah,
it could have been me, but it could have also been other people. I mean, it's something
yeah,
that
because I think,
not only I could think of.
yeah, because I think I even asked the question of like, what is judging? Like, didn't I ask that?
I think
Was
so. Yeah,
yeah, on our last motivation call.
yeah. And we talked about that in a mental health call before too, I think.
Mm,
So, yeah, talked about it plenty of times. But yeah, you never know. I do like in one of the quotes from that
yeah.
poem, which somebody did point out in the comments, it says he couldn't understand what was attacking him from within.
Hmm.
Like, and they said, like, in that comment, they said, even in pain, he was empathetic and could see the one causing the pain was also in a kind of pain of his own. So, like, I think,
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's a beautiful line in that poem of recognizing, like, you can recognize that hurt people, like, that's basically
Yep.
saying, um, and like, that doesn't make it right, though. They're not saying that that's right. They're just saying,
Yeah.
like, you can see the pain in that person and they
Yeah.
see it with they can't understand it within themselves. So they're trying to do something that's
Yeah.
like it's an unproductive way of releasing that pain.
Yeah.
It's not healthy. It's not a good way to express it, but
Exactly.
sing it. And so, yeah, I think it's beautiful that Ross Bukowski wrote about these things, these experiences,
Yeah.
that he expressed them in his writing, um, because I'm sure that that was a form of release for him. Like,
Exactly.
even though he did also get into drinking as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone said, and the brutal reality that a young boy and his mother were as helpless as those fish in that bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, and that just imagery of even the father throwing the fish to the cats
Yeah.
is a like like you don't necessarily think of it like the cat isn't necessarily being cruel. The cat is just doing what the cat does, which is going to eat
Yeah.
because it's food, it's a predator, it is what it is
Yeah.
in that sense. But like the fish being that analogy for his mother um made it even more like heart-wrenching when she just was watching the fish be eaten by the cat. There was nothing to do, and so she just
Yeah.
smiled, but the
Hmm.
smile was real, like like it wasn't like a genuine smile. It was just the smile of survival.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, someone pointed out that line, that states, and it was the saddest smile I ever saw. Like, what a powerful way to say that. It was this, a smile being a personification of something that is happy, joyful. Saddest smile. Like I never heard that two
Yeah,
words in the same line, but like that. The saddest smile I ever saw, you
yeah.
know?
I don't know why that made me think. Well, I think probably because I was watching My Hero today, but it just
Yes. Hmm.
of All Might, how he just was told to always put a smile on his face.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's like,
Yeah. It's that same thing. Yeah.
that is because it's like it's not necessarily a genuine smile. It's just a smile. Like to me, it's like it's a smile of survival. It's a smile.
You can't go no further in that anime. Like, no, I refuse. No, I'm sorry, but you're getting too good. So you haven't even came across Lemillion.
Came across what?
Lemillion? You haven't seen him yet.
I don't think so.
All right, cool. He looks like All Might.
No.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Because there's more. I can't. So you haven't even seen the little girl yet that can heal and all that stuff. You haven't got anywhere near that
I don't think so. No, I don't
with the
remember
horn
a little girl that can heal.
with the horn on her head.
No, stop spoiling things,
I'm
Trey.
not spoiling. I'm not spoiling. I just want. Okay. All right. Yeah. You can't go no further. You can't go. I'm sorry, but no, because I got to see your reactions, man. You literally witnessed the fight with him in All for One.
I cried.
Yeah, I cried too. That thing was crazy.
I
Did you
cried.
did you
Oh,
see how he saved Bakugo? That part was so impactful. How he like used the other guy to call Bakugo.
we can talk about this tomorrow, but because it's tomorrow's the anime group and it's
Sure. Okay. Ah, you
I,
getting me in?
I was like, I made it through. I made it through this poetry session without crying, and we're not about to start now because we're talking about anime.
I know, right? Oh, you think you cry? Oh, you gonna cry? People start dying.
I
But
cried, Trey.
just wait, but wait until some people start. You're gonna start to see some stuff.
You saw my reaction. I sent you my reaction.
Just wait. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Mhm.
He's seen nothing yet. Yeah. All Might's done. He's finished. After that, he's done. He's
I know,
definitely.
Trey. We have a
Yeah,
lot
okay,
to talk
okay.
about tomorrow. We have a lot to talk about tomorrow.
Yeah, he had to pass the torch. He's done.
I know.
Yeah. All right.
We're supposed to end with poetry.
Okay,
I brought
okay.
it up because of the smile. That's the only reason I brought it up.
Charles McCaskey. It's amazing. And your poem was amazing too. Before we switch over, I know we gotta go over to E. But
Yeah, and sports.
yeah, because I got some videos for that. But this was really good. Thank you for joining. Thank you for hopping in. Thank y'all for listening. TikTok, YouTube. Let's just talk poetry. This was me. Let's just talk Trey with Care. But let's just talk poetry. And again, guys, thank y'all so much for listening, tuning in. And until next time, peace. Let's do it, Kay. Heading over there to the let's just
The
talk
sport.
sports. Yep.
Yes.
All
All
right.
right.
I'll see you soon.
Okay, bye.
Let's do it. Bye.